Hello dear listener, it is time for the VR Shiz show once again. Been a little bit. We are not dead. Not yet. New episode here for ya ears. Same problems another day. You'd think we knew what we were doing by now. Oh well. Stuff good talky talk. Just use some headphones or whatever.
And we are live. Welcome one and all to the VR Shiz show. It has been a hot minute.
Been quite a few weeks. I died for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I did not have the cough.
You had a different cough.
I had a different type. I had the flu, and then I had sinus infection simultaneously.
Yeah.
It was the best feeling in the world.
Oh, I'd imagine.
But luckily, I have a vacation coming up in 2 days for about 12 days. They gave me the 24th off as well for no reason. They're just like, hey, actually, you don't work Christmas and Christmas Eve and all of your other days that you're already going to get. So here you go. And It's all paid. And I was like, I mean, if you want to pay me for not working, I'm not going to cry about it.
Yeah. See, I don't have that luxury at a nice part-time job working out in the field, so to speak.
If you worked full-time, would they offer you benefits like that?
Yes.
I would assume
But,
so.
I don't have that luxury, and I don't ever get to have that luxury for what it is. But, I got a ton of sick hours that I'm going to be really cranking through. So.
Yeah, that's fair. We had talked about it earlier. It's been a while. I actually have not seen Richard in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and I'm
like
very
you said,
happy.
You died.
I did. It sucked being away from everybody. But you know what?
Sure.
We are back and probably of the same exact quality, which is not that much than ever.
Yeah. I'm hoping that we don't go super long because I've determined that about the 48-minute mark is where the audio decides to just suck. So if we go beyond that point, it'll suck.
This intro is already long, so let's
look. All right,
let's get started.
All right, it's time
let's
everybody's.
Shoot for 40 minutes. If we can shoot for 40 minutes, I think we're safe.
I aimed for 30 minutes with this show initially. Once.
Okay. Anywhere from 30 to 40, I think we're fine. But let's do it. Do you want to start us off for media consumed, or do you want me to do it?
I can start us off for media consumed, everybody's favorite segment.
It's my favorite segment, personally.
Yeah. It has been a little while, but I started watching a TV show for the first time in a long time, because normally I just sit around and play YouTube or video games whenever I have free time.
As do I.
Yeah. And so it's very rare that I'll actually say, you know what, I'm going to sit down and watch a show. And Hulu has a little show called Letterkenny. Okay. And, white girls have, like, The Office. Older white girls have Friends.
Or, like,
other guys have, like, Parks and Rec. And I have Letterkenny. This is mine.
Okay.
So, the show is in Canada, centered around a rural town and the problems that they face. And it is fantastic. It is incredibly well written. The dialogue is so well written in how each line is delivered as well, things like that. The characters are hilarious. But the thing that stands out to me is the camera work. You don't expect with a comedy that there's going to be really interesting camera work.
Mm-hmm.
You expect there to be pretty bog standard styles. I mean, The Office has the first person cameraman view of, like, it's a handy cam or whatever. I don't know what the term would be for how they film it. But it's like it's filmed and they're talking to the camera. Letterkenny will open an episode like that with the main character, Wayne, talking to the camera. Uh-huh. And then it'll go into the rest of the episode. But there are a few hiccups with episodes that are kind of stupid.
Yeah.
And there are characters that just make you uncomfortable, but it's like, all right, I know they're there and designed to do that, but gosh, do they succeed.
Yeah, sometimes you succeed a little bit too well.
Yeah, there's a character, Gale, and if you ever watch the show, you'll know why Gale, immediately you will know why Gale makes you uncomfortable.
If I look up a picture of Gail...
No, it's her personality.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is this someone that we probably both know personally, but they're two different people?
No.
Ooh, gosh.
No, this is just a character that I'm like, gosh, I feel gross watching this.
Ooh, okay.
But anyway,
I'll have to eventually watch it.
Yes. The show it's very deadpan in its humor.
I like that.
With how it delivers its lines. Like the main guy, Wayne, he's also, his actor is the main guy, also writes and produces and directs the show.
Interesting.
Because I'm like, wait, his name is up there for that character, and written and directed by, and, he does everything. It's Jared Keeso, or Kesso, or whatever. But yeah, I've been watching that. It's pretty easy to plow through all the episodes. There's currently 8 seasons. They just announced the 9th. And each season has either 6 or 7 episodes.
Uh-huh.
So, 20 minutes per episode, you can crank through them pretty quickly.
It's a really short. Mm-hmm. That's cool.
But yeah, like I said, the strongest thing is the dialogue. Because each character has a very specific way of talking, how they talk.
So clearly defined...
Yes.
Characters. That's good.
The characters themselves are hilarious in the tropes that they employ, different, like I said, personalities. Like I said, I keep saying like I said. I should stop doing that. To be fair, that's another quote from the show that they make fun of. To be fair.
Yeah.
They say, to be fair, and make fun of it. I lost my train of thought. But, it was because the characters have a lot of things that they will repeat. And stuff like that. Where if it's, instead of saying, like, get on with it, they constantly say pitter-patter. Stuff like that I just find hilarious. The show is absolutely incredible. 100% recommend. The other thing that I almost forgot. There's a lot of fight scenes.
Okay.
A lot of them. And they're all filmed in slow-mo. And they're all really well shot, but they always have incredible punk music going over the fight scenes. Like, they have good music throughout the show, but the fight scene is always just a hard-hitting, good, crusty punk song. And one of my favorite things is when they're in Quebec, French Canada.
Yeah, I know where that's at.
The punk lyrics are in French. They have French-Canadian punk songs.
That's awesome.
But yeah, the show is hilarious. I'll have to show you after the podcast just some clips. But I'd say that's it for me.
I'll have to pick that up eventually. Well, I mean, it's good because I know, just like you said, I know that you're not someone that watches too much TV. So to find something that you actually genuinely enjoyed like that, that must be a gem. So I'll definitely have to check it out.
Like I said, it was nice that it's just short.
Just like I did with Gravity Falls, and I was like, yeah, I can see why this is one of the best cartoons
And then
ever.
when Brian mentioned Spider-Verse, and then I just screamed in the chat, this is why I recommend things to you guys.
Well, you forced me to watch it, and then he decided to watch it. The best part is about that, I'll have to tell you later, like, the full story, but they planned watching Spider-Verse, streaming it and everything, and I was somehow involved in this. But I was not in the chat for, like, the whole day, and then I came back and I'm like, what the heck just happened? So guess who streamed Into the Spider-Verse without watching it because TLC was yesterday, and I already made plans to watch TLC with my dad, but Quiz couldn't run it from his laptop, so guess who had to run it in the background while watching it with my... It was one of the funniest things, but I'm just like, whatever, dude, I don't care. They enjoyed it, though. We had like, maybe 12 members of the Discord all watch it together. So nice. It was very wholesome. Really liked it. Nice. I could definitely see why it's considered one of the greatest animated movies ever made. I would put it in top 2 personally. Mm-hmm. I'd probably say it would be. But it's not my favorite. It's probably my second favorite now because Iron Giant's always going to have my heart, man.
That is a fair pick. Iron Giant is wonderful.
Yeah, it is. But let's move on to mine so we don't make this too big.
Yeah, forget it. Whatever.
So
if we get crackly, we get crackly.
It's true, yeah. So, as you know, I like buying games against my better judgment and playing them because...
You mean against my better judgment?
It is also secretly mine, but it's like, but what if the game is good? There have only been a few games in my life where I'm like, I'm not going to buy this. Road to Hell was one of them. Mm-hmm. But no one likes Road to Hell, so that's fair. Yeah. And The Last of Us 2, which I'm going to have a lot of fun talking about in the second half of, well, technically third, because I also remember that other segment.
Oh, gosh.
I will never forget.
That is the problem, isn't it?
Don't worry about it. It'll be really quick, because I already picked out what I wanted to do for that one. But I played Cyberpunk 2077.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not buy it on my computer, because I didn't want the computer burning a hole into the entertainment center that I had. Because I heard that if you don't have Linux, it just pretty much it runs so slow and it overpowers everything.
No, you bought it on your PS4 though.
Yeah.
Which runs even slower than your computer would run it.
But the PS4 can die and I wouldn't be sad about it. That's the difference.
Your computer can handle Cyberpunk on medium settings, which is what a console's going to run it at anyway.
While that is true, I don't care about the possibility of my PS4 dying. If the game crashes on my computer and does something, that is so much money.
It's not going to do anything.
I don't trust Cyberpunk. I'm sorry. I don't trust it enough.
It's just going to leach into your system and delete System 32.
Okay, so funnily enough, that is kind of the premise of the entire game.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not joking.
It's literally the stupid 4chan post, delete System 32. It's a hack.
Are you going to eventually play the game?
I am. I intend to buy it on sale, and as I always intended to, and given the delays, I suspected it would turn out exactly the way it did. Yep. Which is to say fun, but... Bethesda fun.
Yeah, I was going to say it's fun, but it is very fun. I do love the storytelling. I do love the world building. You know that's something that the lore and stuff like that is something that's very big to me. Yeah. That's why I absolutely love RPGs.
Yeah.
I'm a huge purveyor for the storytelling experience. And the funny thing is, I think you are too, but we're on different sides of the spectrum for that.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool. You know, same banner, different divisions.
Yes.
But the storytelling aspect is great. I think you can tell because Keanu Reeves has a very huge part in that. It wasn't just a cameo.
I figured
he's very much involved in that entire process.
It seemed, because from what I gathered, is that he's the main instigation of the plot in the game.
Yes.
And so that's
all I can say without spoiling it.
I mean, I've made my guesses that I assume are pretty true. I don't care about major plot points, but for the audience's sake.
Yeah, we're not going to go
all three people.
Yeah.
Who may not even play Cyberpunk. We're going to spare them of the spoilers.
Yeah. I will say there's a scene. There's a scene. There's a teen.
There's a teen?
There's a scene.
Is there a teen?
No.
There are no teens?
I think a few of the people from the Discord listen to this, so like maybe one or two teens just listen to this. But they've played it. We've talked about it. There's this super tender scene. That's what I was going to say. Super tender scene. And I accidentally put tender and scene together. Where you have a moment with a character and it's supposed to be like super serious. But that is when the game decided to show me its very first bug.
Uh-huh.
And the character is carrying something and he puts it into your head jack.
Yeah.
But the game decided that was actually not what he was holding, but in fact was holding his gun. So he's holding this gun and he's shoving the gun into the head jack. You don't see him shoving it into, but you know it's implied because he's putting it there.
Yeah.
But I'm just like laughing because I'm like, oh, okay. Like, granted, Bethesda has had games with a lot of bugs. The Fallout series is definitely that.
Yeah.
I still love that series to death, except 4. We don't talk about 4 and 76.
I heard 4 was all right.
It was all right. It was overhyped by the fans. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, but that's every game ever. Like, the people who are disappointed in Cyberpunk, I have one thing to say to you, don't hop on the hype train. It never goes where you want it.
I was excited for the game, but I was never on the hype train. I was just like, it's going to be very buggy, but I've played Bethesda games, so I'm used to this.
I just thought, man, that looks like an interesting game. I'll play it at some point.
It is. I do recommend it. Probably about 3 years down the line when they remove about 25% of the bugs and 40% of the crashing.
I'm just gonna wait for it to go on sale.
Yeah, just do that. It crashed on me about 5 times, which is the most any game has ever crashed on me.
Nice.
Which is hilarious because I still sat down and was like, that sucked. I'm going to reboot my PlayStation to play this again. I am genuinely enjoying the game.
See, I think I just had recently, side tangent of media consumed.
Yeah.
I got Burnout Paradise on PC because it was $5. Turns out that game does not run at all. EA just does not care. And so you have to, what I did, browse forums, eventually find the one that said, yeah, to play Burnout and not have it crash after the loading screen, the title.
After loading, legitimately.
It literally just loads into the title, you press continue, and then it crashes. Every single time you open it up.
That's just EA games in general.
Yeah. So there's a patch for that, but I think it took me about 6 or 7 crashes to realize, there's an issue here.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to
do you remember the 5 seconds that EA cared for their product?
Which 5 seconds were those?
Probably like a year or two after the beginning.
Yeah.
When with like, because they had cool games like Dead Space. Like I'm never gonna not, Dead Space. What's it called? Mass Effect, which is a series I do recommend.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming out with the Legendary Edition. Army of Two, like it was just this cool period of time where the game wasn't great, but they tried. And I can respect that.
I will say that EA is seemingly on the uptrend.
Here's hoping.
Because as buggy as whatever the Star Wars
Fallen Order.
Yeah, that one. As buggy as that was, it was really, really good. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
I heard that the new Rogue Squadron is also pretty good.
I heard that too, weirdly enough.
So they're having their moments.
They're trying, yeah.
I think they finally realized that, bad PR is in fact bad.
Maybe
what a concept.
Yeah. All publicity is not necessarily good publicity.
People like it when we make good games and they buy them. Wow. That's incredible.
Someone should talk to Todd Howard. But, okay, so last thing for this. I do actually genuinely enjoy the game. There are some moments where I'm just like, I don't have a gun in my hand, but I am killing this person. The game has crashed on me, but honestly, I have genuinely enjoyed it. I do like it a lot. I'm not gonna say that it's Game of the Year contender. It's one of those ones that you can dig your feet into and genuinely enjoy. But I'm not gonna be like, this game is life changing like some of the other games in my life, like Uncharted or Ratchet and Clank or Fallout New Vegas or Pokemon. Early Pokemon. But, it's not one of those games where I can look back and be like, this is an aspect of my life that has changed me and done something for me, made me think in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's the premise of what you want in a video game.
Yes.
I like the build that I made and everything. It's fun. I accidentally inadvertently kind of played into the story the way I wanted to. So I was really proud about that.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll talk to you about it later. But really quick.
It's
for
time
this segment,
for
He Who Shall Not Be Named.
the worst segment of the show.
Isn't that all of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's the next worst segment of the show.
Okay, so this is going to be really quick. So for He Who Shall Not Be Named, the leader of the once renowned nu metal band Limp Bizkit. I can never say that I'll never be able to say that with a straight face. Here's one day in his life. In October 6th, 2018, Shaggy Tube Dope from the hip-hop duo Insane Clown Posse attempted to dropkick Durst during their performance on the song Faith. DJ Lethal from Limp Bizkit responded on Instagram Live calling Shaggy a clout chaser. According to 2Dope, who is a pro wrestler with years of experience, that is actually true, by the way. He started his own wrestling league, I think in mid 2005, if I'm not mistaken. Did not intend to cause Durst any harm, and the motive for the kick stemmed from a dare he had with a security guard that let him on the stage after Durst announced, "I need some people on stage." So he was drop kicked by a pro wrestler and one half of the band Insane Clown Posse during one of the performances for their shows. Just in the middle of one of the songs.
Yeah. As is wanting to happen, you know?
In new metal bands, right? That's a regular thing that happens.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure.
Okay, that's all I was going to share. See, that was
right.
simple to the point.
Simple, short segment, and we can move swiftly onward from the wonderful life of that man.
Yeah, so
the life and times of him.
One awful segment to probably one of the greatest travesties. I'm not going to make that same mistake that I made when we were watching Onyx Equinox, which no one is going to know about here. One of the greatest travesties of this year, and that is considering a lot of things that have happened this year. The Video Game Awards. Now,
Ooh.
Yeah, the Video Game Awards reminds me a lot of the awards that they do for movies at this point. Just talking points, and you know who's gonna win, even though they don't deserve it.
See, that's what the VGAs needed, because, you know, the Oscars have their esteem and all of that.
Yep.
But the Video Game Awards, in my mind, I still just imagine that commercial of Samuel L. Jackson as a baby advertising them back when they were on Spike TV.
Yeah, but at that point, they still had more integrity than they do now.
That is true. They had far more integrity at that point. So, the Game Awards have fully achieved peak stupidity.
Yes.
Because,
actually, let
again,
me pull
the
up
Oscars, the Oscars are all about what they want to win, almost never what should win.
Mm-hmm.
And the Video Game Awards have finally hit that point. People argued about the Video Game Awards for years, about whether or not they mattered, things like that. But they were always cheesy in a good way. Do you remember the Schick Hydrobot?
Why does that sound so familiar?
The buff robot with a razor for a face that advertised Schick razors.
Yeah, for some reason they moved like the characters from Real Steel, and I was all about it.
And so they stuck him in the Video Game Awards. Moments like that just made the Video Game Awards like, yes, this will never have the class of the Oscars, and I'm really glad about that. But I think they're finally moving away from that. The Video Game Awards still do have all of the announcements that I ever look forward to. There were a lot of announcements this year that I was very excited for. There was the weird Western game that looked...
The one you were telling me about.
Weird Western vampire killer that I'm like, ooh.
I was about that as well. When you said that, I was like, excuse me? That sounds really cool.
Up my alley. There was the Ark animated series starring Vin Diesel that was announced.
That actually sounds bonkers, but in the best way possible.
I can guarantee the show will be better than the game in every single way, because that game is a heap of garbage. Then there was the other announcement that I'm sure you were thrilled about with, what's his name, the original Dead Space creator.
Yes. You know what? Dead Space is not coming back. But if they could make like a spiritual successor to it, just like they did for System Shock into BioShock? I forget what the way it was.
Yes.
Then I'm all for it.
Something like that.
It's something like that, but I'm all for it because like I've talked about it about 3 times on this show. I love the series. Okay, so the fact that he even though he can't do it anymore because I think Visceral has been gone for quite a few, and EA just doesn't care enough about the properties that they bought for no reason, but are just sitting there.
Yeah.
Kind of like Nintendo. But
No, worse than Nintendo.
yeah, well, yeah. They're fighting it out right now. I don't know if you've seen everything that's going on with Nintendo right now, but ooh.
Nintendo is doing their hardest to give EA a run for their money with the Smash tournament.
Splatoon too. Did you hear?
Splatoon?
Yeah, because
I remember that one.
Because a lot of people were defending Smash, and then
so
they're like,
just
"That's
said,
cool."
We're just not going to stream the tournament. You don't need to see the tournament, right, you guys?
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but that's neither here nor there.
But yeah, back to the Game Awards. So there were some good announcements. Sephiroth.
That was cool. I actually did the challenge and managed to get your boy. My friend tricked me into thinking that I needed to play it on the hardest difficulty, so I did it for about half an hour because I'm awful at the game.
Half an hour?
Because I'm awful at the game.
I'm bad at Smash Bros, but I just know how to cheese mechanics.
Well, yeah, I thought about it. I'm like, I'll play my best character, and then after it wasn't 20 minutes. It was shorter than that. But after maybe 4 deaths, I was like, who can I cheese Sephiroth with? So I chose K. Rool, and then won in about 20 seconds. Because
I just chose Bowser and just kept upbeing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because it just stuns him and just pulls him in, and he couldn't do anything for the entire match. I almost took no damage, but then he landed a hit, and then he proceeded to land many.
Yeah, but, that's how it works.
But yeah, so there were a lot of good announcements, and that was the best thing that the Game Awards had to offer. The awards were stupid.
Oh, one more thing for me personally was the live performance that they did for Persona 5 Strikers.
I'm sure you were hyped for that.
It was really good. Lynn, the lady who sings all the music for the Persona stuff, she's fantastic. Yeah. She's a powerhouse, and you could tell the band was having fun. Too bad they didn't know what they were getting themselves into with such a garbage just a garbage overall show.
I still think my favorite performance was when they had Mick Gordon come out. Have you seen that performance?
I think so.
It's so good, where he's just shredding, and the audience is half into it and half confused because they're gamers and they don't go to concerts.
So let's talk about the big, ugly elephant in the room for this show.
Hades only won 1 award. Should have won many more. It only won, I think, Best Indie Game.
Well, to be fair, if the Video Game Awards could somehow fit The Last of Us 2 into the mark of an indie game, you know for a fact it would have won without any justice whatsoever. I actually have the Video Game Awards pulled up right here.
I was going to pull them up on the computer.
It's good for you. Yeah, it's good for you to do that. So technically speaking, The Last of Us 2 made history twice over, because it is the most. It is the game with the most amount of nominations in Video Game Awards history, with 11, and it won the most amount of nominations ever in one sitting, which was 7 of them, including Video Game of the Year.
Yes.
Which shows that the Video Game Awards does not care about video games.
Oh, absolutely not.
And that is not to say about, like I had stressed this to you, this is not about the representation of the game. I don't care about that stuff. If your character, whatever the representation is a good character, if they're written really well, you know what? I'm fine with it.
Yeah, so
Ghost of Tsushima was a fantastic game, and it only won sound.
I'm pulling up all of the nominations for Game of the Year, and The Last of Us Part 2, which, even if it was good on its own merits and many people enjoyed it, which is true, it was a alright game and many people did enjoy it.
6 out of 10.
It was mired in so much controversy.
6 out of 10.
And most people who enjoyed it did not give it, some perfect score. Compared to Animal Crossing New Horizons, which was so popular.
And not only that, it has received so much support from Nintendo alone.
To be fair, they just released it early and decided to patch in all of the features that are expected to be in there. I'm a little salty about that, but
So you still enjoyed the game, though.
Yes.
Yes.
Hades, which Supergiant has incredible art style, incredible game design.
I heard so much about that game. Like
I
all good
still need to buy it on PC.
I'm very close to buying
so incredible. Ghost of Tsushima, which I had heard nothing but positive.
You and I had talked about this, and I told you how much I enjoyed the game. Like,
Yes.
I love Japanese culture, especially, like, during that time period.
Mm-hmm.
And for them to pay the Japanese culture such... They do such a good job of respecting it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I had talked to you about it, but a lot of Japanese Americans, a lot of Americans in general, said that it was really racist and bad because of the representation, even though the Japanese people who played the game were like, wow, they took time to learn about our culture. This is amazing. And my favorite Twitter response was, well, I can't even say it without laughing. The experiences of Japanese people from Japan are different from Japanese Americans, so their opinion doesn't count. Even though the game is set in Japan.
No, it's set in Japanese America.
I was just like, how out of touch do you have to be with reality to have an opinion like that?
Look, I'll tell you after my $1 million games journalism idea, because it just mocks the stupid state of it. But games journalism and the people who talk about games rather than play them are stupid. So back to the other nominees. Final Fantasy VII Remake, which... Sure.
You didn't play it. I don't even like Final Fantasy. I enjoyed the game. It was really solid.
I heard it was all right. I mean, it's Final Fantasy VII, one of the most...
It's better than the Last of Us 2. I'm never letting that go. The game was...
Then Doom Eternal, which I had my gripes with, but I would honestly have given it my game of the year.
I would say it deserved its nomination. 100%. If it would have won that nomination, I wouldn't have said anything because the game was fantastic. It is my favorite shooter of probably the last, 10 years, personally.
Mm-hmm.
I know you prefer Doom 2016.
Yeah. But...
for me personally, the way I play video games, I loved that. I think the story was... They didn't need to give it story. As much backstory as they did. They really did
not.
But I think it deserved its nomination.
Yes.
I will say that...
And yet, The Last of Us Part 2, which had far more negative reaction to anything.
What did it win for that category? What category is that? Best game direction.
That was...
Excuse me. Sorry, not no game of the year, but best game direction.
Yeah.
So the best game direction is to bully 70% of your staff and blacklist them.
He did it successfully.
I hate Neil Druckmann. I don't hate a lot of people. I don't. You know how I make jokes about everything. I legitimately do not like this man. He is never gonna... Well, actually, there is a chance he will listen to this because he hates all negative criticism. Mm-hmm. So hopefully this will bring us on the up and up and people will listen to this one episode. I do not like Neil Druckmann. Let me just tell you, I loved the Uncharted series. Was it dumb sometimes? Yes. Is it about a white man killing hundreds of minorities because for some reason those are the only people in the business of looking for treasure? Yes.
Well, that's where all the treasure is, man.
Yeah, you'll never find treasure like that in America. Because we took it all.
Yeah.
But
it's already in museums, man.
It's already in museums. But is the game fun? Did it play with those expectations a lot? Absolutely. I think Uncharted 2 is one of the best games of all time, personally speaking. Mm-hmm. The Last of Us 2, the more I looked at everything that was going on behind the scenes, I watched people play it. It would not be a game that I would enjoy, personally speaking. Again, it's not about the identity politics, and I'm using the quotations or whatever. It's none of that. I don't care for that stuff.
Yeah.
That doesn't determine whether a game is good or bad for me. If the game made me think and I enjoyed it, that's what constitutes a good game for me. But if I look at the process of which a game went, how much he sacrificed for something so garbage.
Yeah.
And to backpedal on your characters, to just take a massive steaming dump on the things that you've already established. I know that you had your gripes with the new Star Wars trilogy, that is exactly what The Last of Us 2 was for me.
Yeah.
It was my most recent Star Wars trilogy because the game had so much potential, but they decided to go with a specific thing for something else, and it just made me really sad.
Yeah.
Because it could have been so good.
Yeah.
It could have been so. I have a rewrite that I think is better, and I'm no one to even think about those things, and I can guarantee I can rewrite that game better than they had.
Again, most chimps, the idea of a chimp with a typewriter could have successfully written a better sequel, I would imagine.
And they would have been better treated than the staff.
You're right. Everybody loves monkeys.
Yeah. I'm not going to make a joke about that. I was going to make a joke about Abby, but overall, I do like her character. I just feel like she was given an unfair shake. But best art direction, you know what? Hades was right behind it.
Hades should have won.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. Supergiant, I love their art style, everything they do. And again, I'm very much not about graphical fidelity. I'm about art style.
Yeah.
And I saw a gameplay of Ghost of Tsushima, and it looks great.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic.
But looking great is very different than art direction.
Yeah.
Because Hades
looking great and feeling great are two different things.
Exactly. Hades has such an incredible style and flair to it.
By the way, do you know how many nominations Hades got?
All of them.
Got 9. Right behind the best game of the decade, made by the best creator.
And Hades only won
2. Well, you know what? That it's its fault for existing in the same time frame as the best game in the entire history of video games, which is The Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
Made by Naughty Dog. I feel like as we grow older, I just get more jaded with all of the studios that I used to love. I really thought that Naughty Dog wasn't going to disappoint me. And then it proceeded to murder my family in front of me.
See, you have to look at it like I look at albums and music. You listen to their first few albums, and then you determine the point in which they sold out or
they made
just
the Sly
sucked.
Cooper series. They made the Sly Cooper series and the Uncharted series. And then they made The Last of Us, which is a good game. The gameplay is boring. But the story is so good that you deal with those segments so you can get to the actual emotional moments.
Yeah.
You know what? That's why The Last of Us 2 was so garbage. Because the story points were really bad. So it made you notice how awful the actual gameplay was.
Yeah.
That's, again.
So continuing down the line here, we got, I skipped over a couple, but best score in music goes to Final Fantasy VII Remake. Fair enough.
I did listen to the music in that. That is a bop. I'm just really glad that didn't go to... I'm never going to let this go. The Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
I would have been fine with any of the other games in there.
I will say Doom Eternal's soundtrack is weaker than 2016.
Unfortunately, because of everything that happened between, what was it, Bethesda and Mick Gordon?
Yes.
I think that, as much as I do enjoy the overall sound of it, I don't think it was as strong as it could have been.
No. There are some incredible tracks on the soundtrack, but it was weak. And then, oh man, the guys that they got to freaking replace him on the DLC, I'm like, wow, that is not Mick Gordon.
That is something.
Yes.
I think if they could have worked it out with Mick, they probably would have had that.
Best audio design. Not... Alright, so we have Last of Us Part 2, Resident Evil 3, Ghost of Tsushima, Half-Life Alyx, and Doom Eternal. If you know any of the stuff behind Doom 2016's sound design and what went into it and the nonsense and craziness of it, and I imagine they did similar things with Doom Eternal, I haven't caught up with it.
Mick Gordon is the Bear McCreary of video games. And Bear McCreary just started doing video games too. He did. I found out that he did the most recent God of War, and I was like, no wonder I freaking love the overall sound and feel of this. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Doom Eternal, Ghost of Tsushima, Resident Evil 3, 100% deserved. They should have, one of those three should have won it.
Doom Eternal's sound design, because I just love the sound effects of a lot of this stuff. Like 2016, one of my favorite things is some of the gushy sounds. They literally put meat in, I think, peanut butter in a fufuzela and then just blew it out. and recorded it.
Yeah.
Stuff like that I'm just like, oh, that's so incredible. Then moving on to best performance.
Yes, Laura Bailey as Abby.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I would have given this one 110% to I don't even know how to pronounce his name.
Daisuke Tsuji.
No, I was gonna give it to the guy who played Miles.
Naji Jeter.
Yeah, 100%. I love the game. I still
pronounce it with a Japanese accent.
Yeah, I honestly, I loved his performance in that game. Mm-hmm. I realized I was going to inadvertently make the it makes you feel like Spider-Man joke. I was not doing it on purpose.
I thought you were going to go with the exaggerated swagger
of a black... And no, it's... Honestly, he feels so awkward, but in the most endearing way. Mm-hmm. Just like when we watched Into the Spider-Verse together, that kind of endearing awkwardness that Miles has in that is pretty much what it felt here. Nice. And his story arc felt so much different than what you felt for Peter Parker in Marvel Spider-Man. Yeah. But they felt both established and fun. No disrespect to Laura Bailey. She is a fantastic voice actress. I love her in practically everything. Mm-hmm. I don't like the fact that the entire team had to preach at me and tell me how I was an awful person for not liking the game. I think she did great as Abby. I do.
I will say,
I don't think she should have beaten the other people in the other games there. I think Ellie would have been better. If they were going to pick someone from The Last of Us, Ellie from The Last of Us 2 would have been better.
But Logan Cunningham is Hades. Have you even heard just the trailer?
I haven't.
I'll have to watch it. I'm going to show you the trailer, and you're going to understand this man. Ooh, that is some voice acting chops. So I'll.
Oh yeah, Jin Sakai. If that's the actual actress from the Japanese, because I played that game in Japanese.
Because I'm talking about Logan Cunningham.
Oh, I know, but sorry, I was looking at because I forgot that Ghost of Tsushima was also. Yeah. I played that game in just Japanese, and you know what? It sounds so much better than it does in English. I don't want to be that guy, but it did. Yeah. What is this?
Oh, this is the most garbage category that the VGAs add. Because
what is it?
It's basically, here's the political game that we want to shove in your face.
They have that now?
Basically, they've had it for years now. It's a thought-provoking game with a pro-social message or meaning. And it's exactly what you think it is. It's always...
Oh, so conservatives can't win that one.
No, absolutely not. I think this War of Mine won it. Best ongoing. Stuff like that.
No Man's Sky is No Man's Sky. And... I can respect it for winning.
Out of all of the games nominated for Best Ongoing, I will say No Man's Sky probably deserved it.
Yeah. Fortnite continues to put in things like Master Chief and Kratos. And it's so weird.
Yeah.
How do you get all these properties, my dudes? But
because Epic Games got FU money.
Yeah, it's true. If Fortnite or No Man's Sky, as much as I hate Fortnite because I'm bad at it, as much as I hate the game, if it would have won, I wouldn't have... I'd been like, yeah, okay, it makes sense.
See, and it's a good thing because Last of Us 2 is not an ongoing game.
No, in fact, I don't really think they're going to be ongoing that much afterwards. Because although they say it's the best-selling game for, what's it called, for Naughty Dog, they don't talk about the refunds. Mm-hmm. The game's sales dropped within 80% within the first week.
Really?
And then dropped like another 60.
Nice.
So,
yeah. Just don't tell Naughty Dog. Then this is Best Indie Game, which is where Hades finally won a game.
I was really happy that Carrion got on there.
Carrion got on there. Spelunky 2 made it. As a biased man, Spelunky 2 should have won every award ever.
Yeah.
All of them. Best art direction, fantastic.
Even
wins.
Going up against Hades?
Yes.
Okay, fair.
Spelunky 2 has incredible art direction, incredible sound design, incredible music, incredible, perfect gameplay. Spelunky 2 all the way. I'm gonna get a flag that just says Spelunky 2 2020.
But I'm happy that Hades at least won something.
Hades won something, but it was the category where it's congratulations, the indie game that was competing with all of the AAA games, it won Best Indie Game.
The fact, I think that's one of the things, though. The fact that Hades got nominated for so many things and went up against other hard hitters like that, including for because it did get nominated for best game of the year. Right?
Yeah.
I think that's a testament to how good the game is probably going to be. What is this one?
Best mobile game goes to Among Us, which, yeah, no kidding.
I knew either Among Us or Genshin was going to win that.
I don't know what Genshin Impact is.
It is a gacha game.
All right, good thing it did not win.
Yeah, I will say it is very addicting.
Best community support.
I feel like that's ironic. I haven't heard anything about Fall Guys since after.
They just post funny jokes on Twitter is all I know. That is literally all that I know about Fall Guys community support.
So it's like the Arby's?
Yeah, basically.
Arby's is fantastic.
Best VR AR Half-Life Alyx, which...
I will never care about that. I'm just going to let you know.
Yeah.
What is AR?
AR is augmented reality. You know how the 3DS had those little cards that you could like scan and they'd pop out?
Okay.
That's AR. But VR, Half-Life Alyx, I think deserved to win. I saw a lot of gameplay of that. I'm never going to play it because I don't want to set up all that VR crap. And
yeah, I'm not doing VR ever.
I might now that I'm getting the living room build, but that is...
I don't know if I can do that. Personally speaking, I don't know.
I'd have to get the wireless pack thing
The only thing
cables suck.
I was going to make a joke about The Last of Us 2 here. I cannot commit to the bit. Because if you know what happens in that game, that one specific scene... I can't make the joke.
Innovation in accessibility, which is basically making the games more playable for more people. So this is an actually good category. I don't know what The Last of Us did to cater to that.
Watch Dogs Legion catered to it because the game is so bland that anyone can pick it up and think that it's okay if it's their first game. Assassin's Creed Valhalla has this very special thing where, you know, if you know anything about the DNA sequences for Assassin's Creed, they're like, oh, this DNA is corrupted and splits into 2 different ways. You can play as a guy or a girl. I played as a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the game is hard as nails, though. And then The Last of Us 2 is accessible because, well, I mean, it's innovative in the way that it made you think it was a very good game and bullying its staff and made you think it was a Saint company. So there's that.
But, because, yeah, I know, it's weird that it goes to a game, though, because I know most of the time it's, like, companies that are, like, trying to innovate in the technology of the systems and things. Like, I know Xbox...
They wanted The Last of Us 2 to do as much as it possibly could.
You're right.
So they did it that way. Best action game.
Best action game.
I'm really glad that The Last of Us 2 wasn't put into that category.
Hades won that, which, in my opinion, Doom Eternal should have won Best Action Game.
Yeah, oh God, I love...
Like, Hades,
really like that.
Hades is good.
But
Doom Eternal should have won Best Action Game.
Best Action Adventure.
Yes.
It won out over Fallen Order, Miles Morales, Ghost of Tsushima.
Ori and the Will of the Wisp is a platformer.
Yeah.
Which...
Again.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out...
Adventure. It's not action. It's barely action.
Yeah, I'd say Jedi Fallen Order should have got it. Ori and the Will of the Wisps, maybe... I guess if it got nominated, but action adventure for Ori, sure. It's an adventurous game.
Look, man.
Whatever.
I'm just going to say that I really liked Ghost of Tsushima, and I also played Miles Morales, and I loved both, and I think either one of them would have been great.
Yeah.
Best role-playing game. I have played 4 out of the 5 games on there. Wasteland 3 is very good, but it's very niche because it's isometric over the top.
Okay.
I think Persona 5 Royale should have won it, but that's because I'm biased.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to cry about what Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah.
What's this one?
Best fighting game, Mortal Kombat 11, sure.
Ultimate, yeah.
Best family game, Animal Crossing, shocking there.
Yeah.
Who would have guessed?
Put The Last of Us on there.
Then best sim strategy, yeah, Microsoft Flight Simulator. That'll crash anything that tries to run it.
That's so weird.
It's so good though. I'm glad that it won. Best sports and racing game, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake. Sure.
Oh my God, that came out already?
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude. Then for best multiplayer, Among Us, sure. I guess.
Yeah, that's fair. Content creator of the year.
I'd say it didn't have the best gameplay for being the best multiplayer. I'd say something like Fall Guys should have won best multiplayer.
Yeah,
Content creator of the year goes to Valkyrie.
I knew her before she exploded.
I have no idea who that is. I'm just glad it didn't go to a furry who decided to preach to me.
Oh, Sonic Fox?
Oh, yeah. Do you not remember that last year?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was garbage.
I'm really happy that Alana Pierce got on there because she's actually great.
I would have rather her won because I want Funhouse.
She was like the very first Twitch streamer I actually ever watched.
Really?
I stopped watching her though.
Yeah.
No particular reason. I just got back into it, and the only one I watch is my friends and Faye Mata.
Best debut game, Phasmophobia. That really?
The reason being, and the reason being is because a lot of streamers played it.
Yeah, but it's not a good game. A lot of streamers played Happy Wheels, and that's very simple.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
But
I mean, a lot of people play.
Its debut did do really well because of it.
But Carrion?
The game is fantastic. I love it.
Which of those games is better? Which of those games is a better start and shows a stronger...
Which games are better when The Last of Us 2 won 9?
We're going to critique everything. Because Carrion absolutely should have won Best Debut Game because it has much stronger gameplay than Phasmophobia.
Yeah. I liked the game, I will say that.
Because, in my opinion, Best Debut Game would go to someone who showed talent in game design. Phasmophobia is an interesting idea. It doesn't really show talent in game design. So.
Okay, so I don't.
Best esports athlete, we got a bunch of people. I have no idea. I don't care about esports. Best esports coach. Wow, incredible. Best esports event. Let's go. League.
I was going to say, I can tell you which event it wasn't.
Yes. Best esports game, League.
Is League never not going to win?
No. League is always just going to be there. Valorant, I think, should have won because it was more interesting. Valorant was fun.
I don't care.
Best esports.
Just into the esports.
Yeah, I mean, that's why it's at the bottom of the page. All right. Well, we managed to go, in fact, 51 minutes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
I ranted too much about depression, the game.
Yeah, it's fine.
The Last of Us 2.
But I think we had a good breakdown of the video game awards and why they're dumb.
Yeah, there were a lot of deserving games on there. But unfortunately, the machine known as, the media and just Naughty Dog's...
Sony wants people to like them, man.
Did you hear about what happened? So anyone who gave the Last of Us 2 a mediocre to bad review wasn't allowed to review the pre-patch stuff for, what's it called, for Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, I believe it.
They were basically kicked out because of it.
Yep, and like I said, games journalism is in a garbage state. So, yeah. We'll end on that sour note and call it there. Hope you enjoyed this episode where we just got angry.
The return to form, and a form I don't think anyone has really seen me in. I'm usually very passive or enjoyed, just in an enjoyable state for most things that we talk about. I'm very passionate about video games, and I think in a completely different way that you are, which I think is really cool because we can talk about different aspects that we both love and appreciate.
Yes.
But when you have something that is just so lazy and so uninspired and just depressing and goes back on its character.
I believe they have a word for this. Bad.
Yes. When you have something, the game is not awful. It's not nearly as good as everyone says it is.
Ain't that everything though?
And that's the thing. It didn't deserve to be in any of those categories, except maybe like if they had like the graphical one. 100%, I think The Last of Us should have won that because it is a fantastic looking game.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it did not deserve any of its other wins.
Yeah. Well, we'll end it there. We'll be back next week. Hopefully Vince doesn't die again.
I don't think I will, but let's talk about something that is going to make me actually happy. We can talk about the one thing that we were supposed to talk about 2 weeks ago. And
and we'll leave it as a surprise then.
Yeah.
See you.